Right, in this lesson I want to talk about Barry Harris's concept of putting a minor sixth chord on top of a dominant note. So if we're in the key of C major, the dominant note would be G. And if you build a minor sixth chord on the fifth of the G7 chord, D is the fifth, then you get this. Now, you can probably see straight away that that's actually a G9 chord. It's got the A in there, which is a useful way of thinking of it as just a G in the bass with a D minor 6 above it, played in different positions, of course. Now, he also talks about another minor 6, though, and that is the minor 6 built on the fifth note of the flattened fifth substitute of the dominant. Now, if you don't know what a flattened fifth substitute is, I've put a link in the description below to another video that I did in which I explain that. So the flattened fifth substitute for G7 is D flat 7. The fifth of D flat 7 is A flat. If we build a minor sixth chord on A flat, we get that. And if we put G down in the bass, then we've got a G dominant seventh chord with a couple of altered notes. We've got A flat, which is the flattened ninth, and we've got E flat, which is the flattened 13th. And again, obviously you can play that in different positions. So let's look at what I played in the introduction and how I use that concept. So first of all, I started off with this chord. Now that in the last video I talked about what Barry Harris used to say putting the sixth on the fifth. So it's basically a G major 6 chord with C in the bass, and it gives you a C major 9 chord. Now, I've gone from chord 1 to chord 6, but I've made it a dominant 7th chord, a secondary dominant there. Now, let's look at what I'm actually playing there. First of all, I'm going to put the G there in the right hand there. So I've got the root A in the bass, and I've actually got a B flat minor 6 chord there. If I play it like that, you can see that those are the notes of a B flat minor 6 chord. So why am I using that? Well, because the flattened fifth substitute of A is E flat, and the fifth of an E flat 7 chord is B flat. So you build the minor 6 there, put A in the bass. Now the voicing that I used though was this voicing. So if I look at these notes, that's the B flat minor 6, but in a drop 2 voicing. G's the next to the top. I put it down there. I then used a diminished 7th chord to approach D minor 7 chord 2, but once again in drop 2 voicing. Taking the C sharp down there and put it there. And then I've played D minor 7 chord 2 in a 4-way close. The right hand playing 4 notes, the left hand playing the top note of the right hand doubled an octave lower. And then I've gone down to the same chord but with a drop 2 voicing. And then I've gone to this. Now, if you take these notes, that's another drop 2 voicing for D minor 7, but with G in the bass. And when you play chord 2 minor 7 over a dominant bass, you get an 11th chord or suspended 4th. And then I've gone to this chord. So let's look at these notes. Let's take that F and put it up there. Now if I rearrange those notes, if I took the A flat down there and put it there, That is an A flat minor 6 chord played over a G in the bass. And again, this is the minor 6 chord formed on the 5th of the flattened 5th substitute. Now, it sounds a bit complicated, but if you just think, right, G, the flattened 5th substitute is D flat 7, A flat is the 5th, build a minor 6 chord on it, put G in the bass. And again, I've used that in a drop 2 voicing, so instead of playing it like that, I've taken the F out, put it down at the bottom. So we get, I've then gone on to an E minor 7 chord, and I've used the same over A7 as I did before, but instead of going up there, the melody just comes down one. Now just here on the D minor 7, if you look at the top 2 notes, they move in thirds, and that's the movement I was talking about in the last video. And then once again, I finished with the G7, which is using the concept of the A flat minor 6 over G in the bass. I hope you found that useful. If you did and you haven't done so far, can you give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you.